Daf Samach Tes Samach Beis, 8 lines from the top to 2 dots. V'amar Abaye Hakol Moedim B'Truma She'ein Chayav Me'la Chaimish She'yishchak B'Lav Shebo. He says by Truma, everybody agrees that by Truma, that a person for Truma, he's not Chayav, it's not considered a Shogeg, to be Mechayiv Mechaimish, unless he's a Shogeg also with the Lav. He has to be a shogeg with the lav. Even though we had discussions before if a person is a shogeg in something other than the lav, but over here, by truma, he has to be a shogeg in the lav. The truma case of truma is if a person who is not a kohen is a zar, if he eats truma. If he does it b'meizid, he's chayim mis b'dei shamayim. If it's b'shogeg, he has to pay a chaimish. He has to add in a fifth milbar, which is a quarter of the karen itself. So in non-kohen eats a b'shogeg, he has to do it. Over here, to be a shogeg, to be mechuyev with the chaimesh, hakol maidim, everyone is maided, that he has to be a shogeg also with the lav. For the Gemara, hakol maidim man, who is hakol maidim? Who are you referring to? Rav Yochanan. It's Rav Yochanan. Rav Yochanan, who said in the other case, he said the case of Shabbos, he says, for instance, that if he's a shogeg in the kores, even if he's a mezid in the lav, but if he's a shogeg in the kores, that constitutes a shogeg and he's chayav the korban. But over here, if he's a mezid in the lav, he's not considered to be a shogeg, to be chayav chaimesh. Well, of course. Even Rav Yochanan said by Shabbos that if he's a mezid in the lav, he's considered to be a shogeg l'chayv korban. He had the ike chorus. That's only when there is chorus and he's a shogeg in the chorus. But he had the like a chorus loy. But if there's no chorus, then not. So of course there's no chorus in the case of truma. So of course Rav Yochanan be made. Gemara says no. There's a chiddush. You might think that the misa b'dei shamayim is equivalent to chorus, and therefore being a shogeg in the misa b'dei shamayim would be similar to be a shogeg by chorus. And if he's a shogeg in the misa, that also would be considered a shogeg. Kamash malan. So that's what Abai is teaching. That Rav Yochanan says no. By Shabbos, if he's a shogeg in Kores, that's considered a shogeg, and he's chayav a korban. But by Truma, where there's no Kores, even though there's Misa b'dei Shamayim, and if he's a shogeg in that's not equivalent to Kores, and he's not chayav in the chaimesh unless he's a shogeg also in the lav. Misa b'dei Shamayim is not as chomer as Kores. Kores, there's also his children are he's hoylech arivi, he doesn't have the children, and which is not the case by Misa b'dei Shamayim. That's the shita of Abai. Rav Amar, he says Misa b'makom kares ameres. He argues. He says that Misa is b'makom kares, v'chaimesh b'makom korban koi, and chaimesh is the equivalent to a korban. So they are similar. Just like by Shabbos you have kores, and there's korban, there's kores b'mezid, there's shogeg, there's korban. And if a person, according to Rav Yochanan, is a mezid in the lav, but he's not aware of the chiyav of the einish of kores, he's considered to be a shogeg and chayav a korban. Rava says this is a parallel case. Just like by Shabbos you have mezid, there is a kores, and by shogeg there's a chatos. By truma, by mezid there's misa b'dei shamayim, and by shogeg there's chaimesh. So they're equivalent, and therefore Rava argues, and he says that therefore, according to Rav Yochanan, if he is a shogeg in Misa b'dei Shamayim, if he's unaware, even though he is a mezid in the lav, he will be chayiv a chaimesh. That's the way Rashi is learning it. Ritva learns somewhat differently. He learns that Misa b'dei Shamayim and that Misa b'makom koras emeres and chaimish b'makom korban, that chaimish is equivalent to a korban, and therefore, according to Munvaz, who says that a shogeg in the korban is considered a shogeg, according to Munvaz, Rav is saying that over here by Truma, if he's a mezid in the lav, but he's a shogeg in chaimish, he'll be chayiv a chaimish, according to Munvaz. That's the shita of the Ritva. If a person was traveling, he was traveling through the desert, and he's lost, and he doesn't know when Shabbos is, what does he do? So he counts 6 days, and after the 6th day, the 7th day, he keeps Shabbos. Now he doesn't know if the 7th day is really Shabbos, but as a Zecher, and not to forget Shabbos, he keeps Shabbos in a way that he'll remember the concept of Shabbos. He counts 6 days, and the 7th day is Shabbos. He says, no, the way to keep the Zecher of Shabbos is the first day he keeps his Shabbos, and the next 6 days are Yemei Chol. But what's the basis of the machlekes? Mar Savar Kibri also Shalaylam. You make the Zecher for Shabbos just like in the beginning of the Bria. So one says it's Kriyasa Shalaylam, there was first Shisha, there was 6 days, Sheshis Yemei Bereishis, and then the 7th day was Shabbos. That's what he should do. Keep 6 days, Yemei Chol, the 7th day is Shabbos. The other one says like Adam Rishon was born and right away was Shabbos. The creation of Adam Rishon, he was created and right away was Shabbos. So too, this person should come into Shabbos, first Shabbos and then 6 days. If a person was traveling and he's lost and he doesn't know when Shabbos is, so it says he keeps 1 day for 6. So what does that mean? My love, doesn't that mean that he's counts 6 days? He counted 6 and then he keeps 1 day for Shabbos. What's his love? It means he keeps 1 day for Shabbos. First keep a day for Shabbos and then count 6. Well, it shouldn't say Mishamar Yom Echad L'Shisha. It should be Mishamar Yom Echad U'Mayna Shisha. It should be Mishamar Yom Echad and then count 6. But it says Mishamar Yom Echad L'Shisha, which implies that he keeps 1 day Shabbos for the 6 days that he already counted. So it should be, according to you, Mishamar Yom Echad U'Mayna Shisha Mi Boile. I'll ask you now the Kasha Tanya Hayamahalach Baderach Midbar Veini Yodei Moshe Shabbos. He doesn't know when Shabbos is. It says clearly Minus Shisha Mishamar Yom Echad Tiyufta Devchia Barav Tiyufta. So it's clear Tiyufta. Halach is you count 6 days. You keep 6 days as Yemei Chol as weekdays, and the 7th day is Shabbos. Also. He says every day you're allowed to do the minimum that you're allowed to keep yourself alive for your parnasa. Except for the day that you keep a Shabbos, except for that 7th day, you treat a Shabbos, you can't work. Well, you're telling me that the first 6 days he does the minimum just to keep himself alive. Well, it implies therefore on that day, that Shabbos, he can't even do that. Well, if he can't do that, he should die. The more answer is Dovid me'esmol shtei parnasas. No, what it means is that the day before the 7th day, he does twice. Frankly, more, well, why is that a valid Eitzah? But Dilma me'esmol Shabbos avi. We don't really know when Shabbos is, so maybe the 6th day, it really is Shabbos, and then he's working double on that day, which really is Shabbos. So this is not an Eitzah. Ella, the Gemara says, Ella kol yayim ve'yayim, oiselo parnas also. No, what it means is that every day he does the minimum that he needs to do for his parnos. And even on that 7th day that he's treating as Shabbos, he also has to do K'rei Paras also. So practically more if that's the case. So in what way is that day recognizable as Shabbos? We're saying we keep the day as Shabbos. In what manner? In what way? If he's working in the same way as the other days, one answer b'kiddush of Havdalah. He makes kiddush and Havdalah. He makes the brachos for kiddush and Havdalah on that day, and it's a kiddush. You might think that it's a suffix brachos, and suffix brachos you don't make the brachos. So you might think that he doesn't really know if it's Shabbos. How can he make those brachos? Kamash Malan, the Chacham said, no, treat it as Shabbos, and therefore you make the brachos of Shabbos and Havdalah on that day, and that's how it's minker. Well, what about walking? How about walking? Can he walk and to come back and to get out of the midbar? Zok Taisus, according to the first approach in Taisus says that he can walk every day. We allow him to walk. Now, even though every day is a suffix, whether it's Shabbos or not, but we do allow him to walk on every day. We allow him to walk on every day except for the seventh day. We allow him to walk on every day because if not, he'll never get out of the midbar. But we don't allow him to walk on the day that he treats as Shabbos. So if that's the case, Rektai says, well, why isn't there a heker? What's the Gemara asking? But my minkera, l'chayra, there be a heker. It's partial that there be a heker that every day he's walking, and on that seventh day he doesn't walk. Taisa says not doing is not a heker. The fact that he's inactive is not a heker. Perhaps the pshat is that because any particular day he may or may not walk. And the fact that on the seventh day he's not walking, maybe he's tired, he's not feeling well, so that in itself is not a heker. That's why the Gemara asks that b'may minker, what is the heker? And it says kedusha v'avdal. The second teretz on Taisa says that no, that even on the seventh day we do allow him to walk. We will allow him to walk on every day, including the seventh day. We want to ensure that he's able to get out of the midbar, so we allow him to walk on that day as well. And therefore the Gemara asks, what is the heker of that seventh day? It says kedusha v'avdal. Omar Rava im hayamaka mixusiyam shiyatzaba oisem malach kol hayam kula. Rava says if he knows the day that he left, if he can trace back the day where he left, then he knows that the day that he left is not Shabbos. He didn't travel on Shabbos, so that day, so if he knows, for instance, that 7 days ago he left, well, he knows that this week later, he knows that that day is not Shabbos. He didn't leave on Shabbos, so that day is mutter to do all the malach he wants. So, in fact, the more pshit, of course, if he knows, he can trace the day, how many days ago that he left. He knows that they didn't leave on Shabbos. Pashat, he can do malacha. One answers, no, the same in the Shabbos loy nafik mali Shabbat and nami loy nafik. You might say, well, if he knows the day, he can trace the day back to when he left. Now, he wouldn't, of course, he didn't leave on Shabbos, but perhaps he'll say he didn't leave Erev Shabbos either. They didn't travel on Erev Shabbos. And so, therefore, you'd say he'd be allowed to do malach on both of those days. No, so it's coming to teach you that malachas mav. So you might say Kevin the Shabbos loy nafik mal Shabbos nami loy nafik v'hai inami b'chamishim b'Shabbos so nafik lishtri le'mavet malacha trei yomi. So you might think that you can say he didn't leave on Shabbos, he didn't leave Erev Shabbos, and even if he left the previous day, even if he left on Thursday, it should be mutter to do 2 days work. If you can trace back the day that he left, and he knows it's not Shabbos, so perhaps we'll say he didn't leave Shabbos, he didn't leave Erev Shabbos either, and even if he left the day prior to that, that's Thursday, he should be allowed to do malacha for 2 days, Kamash Malan, that we don't say that. Kamash Malan, it's only the day that he can trace back to that he can do. Because sometimes, even though it's not common to travel on Friday, but sometimes there was a caravan going, and he hopped onto that caravan, and he did travel on Friday. So it's coming to teach you, it's dafka, if he can trace it back to that one day, that particular day that he left, that day is mutter with unlimited malacha, but not the day prior. So the Mishnah said we had 2 different scenarios. We had a scenario where he's sheichech ikar Shabbos, and if he does many malachas on many Shabbos, he's only chayav 1 chatas. Then the Mishnah had a case. The second case was when he is yedei ikar Shabbos, then he's chayav on kol Shabbos v'Shabbos. So we have a chiyuv of 1 chatas from many Shabbos and a chiyuv for each Shabbos or Shabbos. Why should we say that it's 1 for many or many for 1? So the Gemara says it's based on psukim, and min hasvara we determine which applies where. We have 2 different psukim. Each pasuk is mashma a different way. It says Vishamru v'nei Yisrael es ha-Shabbos, a Shabbos in the singular. Vishamru as a Shabbos. Uksi v'es shapsoisai tishmoyer in the plural. So ha-Ketzan Vishamru v'nei Yisrael es Shabbos, which is mash in the singular, means shmira achas. The Shabbos is harbe. It's Shabbos is 1 shmira for many Shabbos. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael es Shabbos. It's 1 shmira. It's one shmira for many Shabbos. That's Shabsoi Tishmairo, and the plural is shmira achas l'kol Shabbos of Shabbos. There's one shmira for each Shabbos. Maskiv Larav Nachbar Yisrael, Rabbi Mistaber. It should be just Mistaber, the opposite. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael es HaShabbos. It's Vishamru es HaShabbos. It's shmira per Shabbos. Vishamru es HaShabbos. There's a shmira per Shabbos. Shmir achas l'chol Shabbos v'Shabbos. It's shmir for each Shabbos. So that's the makor that there's a chiyuv chatas on each Shabbos v'Shabbos. That's Shabsoi Saiti Shmoiru. There's Shabsoi Saiti Shmoiru. There's shmira for many Shabbosais. Shmira achas l'Shabbosas harbe. There's one shmira for many Shabbosais. And Shabti Shmoiru, they make a shmira for the many Shabbosais. That's Shmira achas l'Shabbos harbe. So we have a makor that there's a shmira for each Shabbos of Shabbos, which implies, therefore, if he's not shomer, he's chayiv a korban for each violation of each Shabbos. And there's, as Shabsaiser, there's shmiras for many shmiras. There's a shmira achas the Shabbos harbe, rather there's one shmira for many Shabbos, which is mashma that there's only one chiyuv chatas for many Shabbos. So it's the Chachamim determined menasvora as follows: if he has a shechech ikar Shabbos, he forgot the concept of Shabbos, so it's really considered one shgaga. So that's where we apply the pasuk that there is shmira achas l'Shabbos harbe. There's one chatas for many Shabbos. But if he knows that today is Shabbos, and he knows the concept rather of Shabbos, but he forgot that today is Shabbos, so there we say, well, he knows of the concept of Shabbos. It's not one shgaga, it's each Shabbos is a separate shgaga. He knows the concept of Shabbos, so he forgot today, on this particular day of Shabbos, he forgot it's Shabbos. That's one shgaga. The next Shabbos, there is a new shgaga. He knows of the concept of Shabbos, and he forgot similarly on this second Shabbos of that today is Shabbos is a new shgaga, and that's where we apply the pasuk of Shmira l'chol Shabbos v'Shabbos, and he's chayiv a korban chatos for each Shabbos.